Hi all, good evening. This is Saif here from Smithy Technologies. Today in this video, I will be demonstrating a Spark word count program. For this, I've already installed my Spark Scala in my Ubuntu Linux machine. The versions are 2.10.6 and 2.2.0 respectively. And these are my predefined paths for my local file system and my Hadoop file system, which I would show you once we progress with the implementation. I would be doing this implementation with the help of Eclipse. So without wasting time, let's move on. So the first step says is create a new project with Maven. Let's go to my Eclipse, right click, let's say new, and I would say a project. Okay, so I've already clicked on my Maven project. Let's say next. Okay, I won't touch this, neither I would touch my artifacts. And here I would write a small. So com dot spark scala word count demo. Let's say spark scala demo, and let's my artifact would be and spark scala wc demo, and let's say finish. So my maven project is added, but can you see this j, which is java? Don't want that, I want scala in nature. So let's expand this, right click, and I would go at the bottom and I would say configure and add scala nature. So now if you see, it's s, so it's a maven project and scala in nature. And the third thing is I need to add a folder with my predefined steps. Let's do this as well. So right click on the project, let's go to the build path and my configure build. Let's go to the source. I'll add a new folder in the main in the name of Scala. Let's say next and add a predefined path star star forward slash star dot Scala. Let's say finish and OK and apply and close. Okay, so I've added the folder Scala Nature Maven project, and I would do some few basic checks whether my Java Scala is exactly same or not. That's what I would be doing in this step. Let's do that. If you'll see, my Java is 1.5, which is not the case. I have 1.8, and if you'll see Scala library 2.10, but my Scala version is 2.10.6. So let's change these two things. Right click on my project, and I'll go over here build path. Let's go to the configure. So I'll go with the first thing is my Java compiler. Okay, so let's change this. I don't want my 1.5. Let's add from my library JRE, that is from my existing environment, which should be 1.8. Okay, apply and close. Let's say finish. Okay, that's good. And the second thing is the same thing I would be doing for my Scala version. Let's go to the Scala compiler over here. Okay, let's use the project settings to my 2.10.6. Looks good to me, and let's say apply and close. The compiler settings have changed. A full rebuild is required. Okay, please go ahead. Now this is building the workspace, and it's done. So done. Let's move on. I'll do is I'll create a package and then a Scala object, and I would write a small hello world program to test whether my Scala is working or not. Let's go over here and add. Okay, let me click on my Scala and add a package, new package, and my package, so wc demo word count demo for my, okay, let's say demo one. So this is the source folder wc main.scala, and in this I would be adding the package. Let me go ahead with this package name, and in this package I would be adding a new object, and my object name would be spark scala demo for word count, and let me say finish. Okay, so I've added a package and I have added an object. Let's try to test this whether it's working or not. So def main. Oh, I think I have an issue with my. Okay, so let's write this. So I was trying to press control space so that all would come immediately. So I'm not able to do that. Let's write args of array of string, and let's write a small println statement that I am testing Scala program. And let's do Ctrl Shift F to format, save this so that it is built again. And once it is built, I will run this Spark application. Right click is some issue in this, so let me go over here, run as Scala application. Okay, so I can see my output. So I am able to run my small Scala programs. So let's move ahead. Now, what I would be doing is I would be start doing an implementation of my Spark word count program. For that, couple of things are needed. One is configuration and the other thing is Spark context. Spark configuration is nothing but the configurations provided to the Spark application. And Spark context is the heart of the program. So everything surrounds in the Spark context. So Spark context would be the executing engine, and it will have all the REDs, broadcast variables, and so on. So let's see whether we have configuration and context available or not. If not, then we would be adding the Spark Scala dependency. So I would remove this, and I would write val. Let me do undo. I just Okay, so I just need to remove this. So I would be doing a val, and I would be checking my configuration. So let me check my conf is available or not. So new spark conf, and I'm pretty sure it won't be available because we need to add the dependency. So let me remove this. Let me go to the POM XML and let me add the dependency which I have already created just to save the time. Control C. Let's come to the Eclipse and come to the dependency, and let's come a bit down and let's add the dependency over here. Control Shift F to format the code, and let's save this. Again, it is building the workspace, so it would take a little bit of time, and if it is taking too much time, I would just pause the videos. Oh, it's done. I'm good with it. So let's close this, and let's do a refresh. Okay, so let's check now whether my conf object is available or not. So val conf equals to new spark configuration. Okay, can you see this? Now am able to use my spark conf and spark. So enter it, and if you'll see, one spark configuration in library has been added. So let me add my spark configuration, and I don't want to clone it. So I would add the app name, and my app name would be word count program, and let me set the master. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to run too fast and it's giving me some errors. Dot set master, and that would be local. Okay, so I'm done with my configuration. Now what I would do is I would add my Spark context. So val sc equals to new spark context, and let me do Control Shift F. Let me add this. So there is one more library which has been imported, and to this spark context I will add my configuration which I have created above. So I'm done with my addition of my spark configuration and spark context. Now let's start creating the word program step by step. Before that, this is the input file which is kept on my desktop, and I would be using this. Let's go to the Eclipse. So the first step is to read the file. Read the file and create a text file object. and everything in Spark is RDD. So I would be creating RDDs. So val read file, that would be the RDD name, and I would be using Spark context, that is, oh, why this is coming, text file, and my file path. So I already have that available in my on my notepad. So just to save the time, it is already in place. Let me add that over here. So file, home, save, desktop, and WC input. So I have read my file. After reading the file, what I need to do is from every line, I need to separate the word. For that, I would be using a flat map. So now I would be splitting the lines from the file. So let's do that. Read. Okay, so let's say read the lines and split it. So I would be using val split file. So I would be using the already created, and I will be using a flat map function, and in this flat map I would be passing the line, oh, the functional programming, that would be line dot split. I think there is some issue when I'm using this line split, and I would be doing with the spaces. Okay, so my my lines have been splitted into words from the file. Now after splitting the words from the lines from the file, what I need to do is I need to assign a counter. So let's assign counter to words, the words which have been created in the above RDD. So val, let's say assign, and I would be using this RDD equals to, I would be using the map function. In this map, I would be assigning word a sequence, that is 1. Okay, so to every word I have assigned. So after assigning 1 to my every word, what I need to do is I need to aggregate it. So let's do aggregation of words. So val count of file, count of file equals to, let's use this RDD, and I would be using I think there is some issue when I use, and that's only one time, first time, reduce by key, and by using something to something, keep on adding. Then I would do a sorting. Let's do a sorting. Sort file equals to, use the existing RDD which has been created, and let's sort by key. I'm fine with it. And let's print the output to the screen. So I would be using sort file dot for each of println. Okay, so I'm done with my basic program. Let's do Control Shift F. So my code is sorted, and let's build it by saving Control S. So my workspace is building, and once the workspace is built, I will execute this program and let's see what happens. So since it is building, I'll just pause for its build. It's done. Let's run this, run a Spark application. Okay, so that's getting executed. Okay, so can you see this successfully Spark context has been stopped, and we can see the output. Honey is repeated thrice, Manas is repeated 4 times, Metali is repeated thrice, Pramod is repeated 4 times, Ram is repeated 3 times, Sagar, Saif, and Shravan is repeated 5 times. So I'm able to get my word count program. I'm able to read the file from the desktop and I'm able to output it to my screen. So my word count program is working fine. But what I want to do is I don't want to see the output to my screen. I need to save this to a file. So let me comment this out and let me use this RDD, and I would use save. Why this is troubling me? Save as text file, and I would use the same path which is on my desktop, and in spite of the file name I will give the directory. Again I would do Ctrl Shift F and save this. It is building the workspace, rebuilding the workspace to be precise, and once this is rebuilt I will execute so that the word count is read from the file and return the output to the file. Run as Spark application. So it is getting executed. Successfully stop Spark context. Let's go to the desktop. Okay, can you see this folder and can you this part file? Let's open with Notepad and see the output. Let's come to the Notepad. The same output which we achieved earlier on the screen has been saved to the file. So we are able to read the file and write the output to the file. So this is the first thing which we have done. So we have completed till here. So we have written the code and we are able to achieve this. Now what we will do is we will specify the input and output as a run configuration. So how to do that? Let's see. And let me minimize this. Okay, so to do that, during the runtime what I would do is I would write a small if condition. If my args.length, come on, args length is less than, I'll just show you a error for the time being. If it is, or let's less than 1, I need to pass some error. So let's do a println statement that would be missing input parameters. And in spite of, I'll just copy this, I'll do a comment out and paste this. In spite of passing the hard coded, what I would do is I've passed the args of 0. That's fine. So let's save this. It's building the workspace. Okay, so let's do a run to check whether it's working or not. Just to cross check, I don't want to see, it's my earlier project arguments are, so we don't have any arguments. So let's run this Scala application. So now if we run this, it should throw an error. The reason being is we have not provided, and if you see, missing input parameters, the same output we have got over here. So, okay, so what I would do is, if you want to, so what will provide a runtime configuration. So click on runtime configuration. So this is my demo word count Scala application, and I'll go to the, let me cross check the name. So it is, oh, this is giving me trouble. Okay, so demo word count Scala, demo word count. Okay, that is fine. So this is the one. So argument, let me provide the input path. So this would be my file. Now it would pick the file and write the file. So this is the input, and I'll provide the output also, and I'll change the code so that in spite of one arguments, I'll provide the two arguments, that is input and output. So this is my second output. Close this, save this. Okay, so let me change the code. In spite of one parameter, one argument, I need to check two argument, and let me copy this. Let's comment out, and here I would be passing my second argument, that is args of 1. Okay, so the first argument is input and the second argument is output. Let's save this. Again, it is building the workspace. So during the runtime, I have provided two parameters, so input file and output file. And before that, I'll just delete my output file so that you don't see the same thing. Let me delete this so I don't have the output. Let me go to my Eclipse. So the workspace is building. Let it build. Okay, so it's done. Let me run this Spark application, Scala application. So it's getting executed. So it's completed, successfully completed Spark context. Let me close this and let me go to my desktop and let's see if I'm able to see the output. Yes, we are getting the output here as well. Let's see the output in a notepad. The file has been modified. Do you want to reload it? Yes. Yes, reload that. And can you see this output? The same output which we got earlier by reading the input file and output file by doing a hard code. The same thing we have achieved by providing runtime configuration. So we are done with the two things, that is hard coding and by specifying a runtime configuration. Now the third thing is we need to run this via Spark submit in the Spark shell. So to do that, we need to have a jar file. So let's create a jar file out of this. So right click on this and can we see? Yes, we can see the export over here. Export, and can we see Java jar file, that is next. Okay, and why this is okay. So let's give some name. So this is wc underscore demo dot jar, and this would be saved. Where I need to save this is, can I save in desktop? Yes, I can do that. Let me do that on my desktop and let's say okay. uh, let me change the name, that is wc underscore demo jar. I would require this jar name further, so let me as of now let me save this jar name and let's say finish. Okay, so there would be a jar name and I would require my package name with my object name. This I would need over here, so I'll tell you at later stage why I would be needing this. Okay, so let's see, let's move ahead. Then Spark submit. Okay, so in Spark submit I need to have my class name, the jar name, and the input file and output file. So first I would show you by using my local file system. So to that I'll delete my output. I have the jar file over here. Let's prepare. I've already have us. So this is I need to. So I've already created a jar file by export. Now I need to run a Spark submit. So I would be doing in on my local file system. So this is the command I would be making use of this for my local file system. Let me just amend appropriately. So Spark submit. So my class name is this. So let me change my class name. Master is local. The jar file name is this. We use the jar file name, and the input file, that is the desktop path, and the output file as the desktop path. So let's copy this. For that, Hadoop should be up and running. So GPS, so it is up and running, and let's fire this command. Spark submit, the class name, the master is local. So okay, where is the jar file name? I think there has been some copy paste issue. Let me stop this. Let me go to my notepad again. So right click, go to the properties, wc underscore demo, wc underscore demo dot jar. So let me change my jar file name. So slash wc underscore demo dot jar. This earlier got, so wc underscore demo dot jar. Okay, no problem. So I've created this. Let's copy this now, and let's go over here and run this now. So Spark submit, this is the class, demo word count, master is local, jar file. I would read the input and run the. Let's execute this. So now what I'm doing is I'm running my Spark submit to my local file system. I would be reading from local file and writing to the local file. And after this, I would be doing it on my Hadoop file system. Okay, so successfully Spark context has been stopped. Let's go to the desktop. Let me close this and let me come to my. Okay, so again we have an output. Let's open this and let's open the part 0 with the notepad. Let's come to the notepad to see the output. We can see Honey thrice, Manas, Mithali, same, Shravan 5 times, same output has been repeated. So we are able to achieve through local file system via Spark submit. Now the same thing what we will do is we'll try to achieve through Hadoop file system. We have already seen through runtime configuration, so we'll see now how to achieve this via Hadoop file system. So to have that, what I need to do is now this file is available on my local file system, that is wc input. Not exactly on my local file system, but let's see. If you change to desktop and if you'll do ls-ldr, can you see this wc input? Now I will place this wc input file to my what is my local file system, ls-ltr. So I cannot see my wc input file. So let's put this to my local file system. Ideally it's not important to put over here directly. What I'll do is I'll pick it from desktop and I'll pick it to my input part of my Hadoop file system. So let's go. So Hadoop file system. Okay, so this is the Hadoop file system. Let me come over here. Let me clear the screen. So please don't get confused. I would be picking the file from my desktop and putting the file to my Hadoop file system. So hdfs distributed file system -ls, and if I paste this, I cannot see any folder. Hopefully I cannot see any folder. Okay, I have one folder with the name of input. Okay, that's fine. So input, let's list it. Okay, I cannot see any file. So what I would do, I would pick the file from my desktop and put the file over here. So the command is hdfs dfs hyphen. You can use two things. Either you can use put command or you can use copy from local. So slash home. Let me see what is the command. So right click, properties, slash home desktop, and wc is capital input.txt. Let's not do control, let's paste this, and the file name is wc input.txt. I need to place it into my Hadoop file system. Paste this. Oh, I need to copy from my desktop and place it into my Hadoop file system. So I'm putting this file from my local file system to the Hadoop file system. And now if you go and do ls, earlier we were not able to see, now we should be able to see the wc input file. Can you see the wc input file? Also, what we can do is we can go to the browser and check this as well. So let me go to the browser, localhost colon 0040, I think. Yeah, localhost 0050. And if I browse my file system, let's go to that path, that is user local Hadoop env Hadoop file system and input. So can you see this file? Same thing, what I need to do is I need to create a output folder as well. So let's create an output folder. So hdfs dfs hyphen mkdir and let's copy this, paste this. So in spite of input, I would say as an output folder. So let me create this folder. So the folder is created. Let's do a cross check. Let's go to the Hadoop file system. Can you see the output folder? So there is no file. So what we need to do is we need to read the file from input and write the file to the output. So just need to do a small change in my Spark submit command. Okay, I've already closed that, but I do have my Spark submit command. Let's copy this, or else what we can do is the earlier Spark submit we have fired, we can pick that so that we can save a bit time. Control Shift C to copy, and let's come over here and paste this. So Spark submit, so that it would be my same class, master would be local, I would use the same jar file, but my input and output path would get changed. So let's change this input, and so let me come over here where I have the path. Okay, so I would be using these path. Let's copy this and let's come over here. So that is user local Hadoop and HEFS wc input.txt, that is fine, and wc. So this command looks good to me. Let's go to my Spark submit and clear the screen and paste this, and let's execute this. So now the Spark submit has been submitted in my Hadoop file system. Spark submit shutdown has been successfully completed. Spark context. Now we'll check. Let me go over here to my Hadoop folder and hdfs dfs -ls and my path. So I will be finding a file. This is the file wc output, that is wc underscore out and again do ls. So I have two files, part file and success file. So I need to see this. So hdfs dfs hyphen cat, and let's paste this. Okay, let me copy this and paste this over here, part 0. So it should see my word count. Can you see Honey, Manas, Mitali, Pramod, and the respective counts? Let's see in my web browser as well. Let's refresh this. Okay, I have the directory of WC out, and let's see part 6 is 0. And let's head this. Can you see this file content at the bottom? So this is the file content. Let me show you. So this is my file content. So this is the word count, Spark word count program. In this, we have seen 3 things. We have developed the code and we have executed the code. First thing was we did hard coded. Second thing was run configuration. And the third thing, that is via Spark submit, we have achieved 2 things, that is picking the file from my local file system and the output to the local file system. And the second thing was picking the file from my Hadoop file system and the output in my Hadoop file system. So this is the Spark word count program, which makes our life very easier and very much faster. So thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions on this video, or if you feel stuck, or if you need a training on Spark Scala with Hadoop, do mail me on smitsytechnologies.com, or you can WhatsApp me on my number. So this is Seth signing from this video and with this program, and see you soon. Happy learning and take care. Bye.